That's me again. I recorded multiple videos in the same night. I changed my hair a little bit so you can keep suspending your disbelief that I'm not just batching these all at once and you're basically just a factory farmed animal for my profit. But anyway, meta intro aside, let's get into today's topic, which is that mason.nvim really sucks dicks. So the problem with it is, if you don't know, actually I should throw out some background because I don't know what I'll call this video and it might be confusing. Basically, it's this plugin that lets you install LSP servers and formatters and LSP servers and formatters. Those things are like weird now because a lot of LSP servers ship with their own formatter built in because I think the protocol has like a LSP.format. There's different things you can pass to LSPs, and so a lot of them are bundled now, but some of them aren't in Mason, and that's an element of the problem with Mason, which is it's just so not standardized. You basically boot this thing up, and actually, I wonder if I can, I'm mid-recording, but I wonder if I can change screens. Let's see, me plus screen. Okay, what am I sharing? If I plug in an external monitor, oh, I have one plugged in. If I send this over, sorry, this is real unprofessional. Oh, my monitor's not plugged in because that HDMI is dead. Yeah, I got a second MacBook because my job's dev server is so unoptimized that it wouldn't run on this MacBook, which is already a very powerful Mac. All right, I got it working now. Sorry for the jank. This is just the brand of the channel. So if I open up Mason, this is what it looks like. It's a little window and it lets you install LSP servers. And you see like there's like formatter, linter, debug adapter protocol, and LSP, which is kind of weird. They're all bundled into one. You can filter by them. And the thing is, this interface has tricked many a noob into thinking it's like a good project because it is nice to work with and use. And the problems are a little sneaky, but I'll show them to you. So let's say we want a Python language server. We search Python, right? That's a pretty reasonable thing to do. I'm going to install a Python LSP. Now the problem is there's, first of all, inconsistent labeling. So imagine I didn't have AskGrep installed. Which, by the way, is not even really an LSP server. It's to deal with the abstract syntax tree of the code you're writing, and I don't even fucking know what it does. It's some like weird tree sitter nonsense. But then we've got, so I searched for Python, right? 3 occurrences in the ones I have installed. This is to get Python to work. So black, which is the Python formatter, then rough, which is the Python LSP. Now, if I go to the next occurrence, we've got autoflake. Okay, I'm not really sure what that is, but it sounds like some kind of formatter. AutoPep8, all right, that's some kind of formatter. Bandit, what the fuck is this? Is this a formatter? Is this a language server? You can expand, doesn't fucking tell you shit. I don't know what this, oh, linter. Damn it, that ruins my argument. It does tell you what it is. But I still had to expand this and go through it. But that's not the biggest problem, right? I go to this, like, based pyrite. What is that? Is that an LSP server? Yes, it is. But how is that different than pyrite? And here's the next fundamental problem with Mason. I don't know what's the most up-to-date language server here at all. Like, based pyrite, that sounds better than pyrite, right? But what if it's not? What if it's just some shitty spin-off and it's like just like it's not maintained anymore? Let's go to the home page. Oh, that opened up on my other monitor. But it doesn't matter because the problem is, right, this interface is supposed to be standard. It's supposed to make things easier. But now I'm just fucking searching through 500 million things and I don't know. Yeah, I just don't know what's like blue. Okay, this is probably a formatter. Black D client. What the fuck is Black D? Is that for the daemon? So it's a formatter, and then blue I'm guessing is a formatter because it's a play on black. Why are there so many Python formatters? Like, who needs all these different formatters? Brunette, another Python formatter, and it's just, do you see the problem? Like, what I want is just like the best, the most up to date, maybe 1 or 2 Python formatters. I don't care if there's multiple up-to-date good Python formatters, but a lot of them, like some of them will say deprecated here, but some of them just won't. And then you're just like hunting through all these different fucking GitHub repositories looking for like a deprecated warning, and half the time you don't find them, and then you're like going on Reddit to see like, oh, what's the most optimal Python formatter? What's the most optimal thing to set up? And then you're fucking doing all this work you didn't want to do because you just wanted this like little GUI to pop up and you wanted to click install, which is basically how VS Code works with extensions. And it just created so much work for you that, see all this Python LSP server, Pyre, pyfly, pyrite, now I have to fucking look through all of this shit and figure out what's the most optimal one. And like, even if you're like, okay, fuck it, I'll just install the OG one. Maybe it's not as optimal, but it works. And then I don't know. It's like, then okay, couldn't we have just made two? Couldn't we have just made, here's like, can't we just have like a little community consensus section? Like, here's the one you use if you're an OG working on old servers. Here's the blazing cutting edge Rust rewrite of that. And it's just so annoying to have to weed through that. And then how you install them is kind of annoying too, right? Because they all build differently. So I don't know if it'll say here, but it's not using your system package manager. It's using the custom instructions defined from them. And you can see like the installs are all, this one is using LSP, or sorry, NPM. And then some of them will like bootstrap themselves, like Python ones will use pip globally to install. And then this one's using NPM. And then GLSL analyzer's fucking probably curling itself, or yeah, I don't even know, package. Yeah, it's like, it's curling itself and running make or something, or it's getting like a tarball, or who the fuck knows how it's installing itself. The problem with that is then you ever want to like uninstall it or figure out like, I don't know, a different version for a different project, you're fucked because you don't know what the fuck installed it. Like, some of these you do. I mean, I can guess NPM, but then I've got NVM, Node Version Manager, and then it's like, okay, so what version of Node fucking installed and built that shit, and like, where is it in my path? And it's not in my, I don't know. And this thing, I think, adds stuff to path, but I don't know. You just get like nightmarish headaches with this stuff because it's like hiding all this complexity from you. And what the ideal thing would be is to just like use your system package manager. Maybe it's like, for me, it's kind of this shitty one, which is fine. And I'm not even going to shit on it. It's a great package manager. I love Homebrew. Take that, Nix people. But yeah, maybe you have like a really optimal package manager that's all declarative and stuff, and you love it, and like you love it more than your parents and your sister and stuff, and that's just like your entire life, and you want to use that. Then yeah, you can. You could just use like Nix Flake install whatever. That's a way better solution because all of these things are probably on package registries like the AUR or whatever the Homebrew one is, and you could just like install them, and then they're on your path, and then you can control all their versions and upgrade them, and just your system package manager, you do it your way. It's just better. But maybe this isn't news to you. Maybe you're like, oh yeah, fucking obviously we realized that 18 months ago. For me, it was news because Mason is so convenient, but it's actually really inconvenient if you actually have to work with multiple things. And if you just think about it for like 3 seconds, like all those examples I showed, it's just really fucking annoying to do anything you want, because there's like, yeah, my basic use case, right, is I want some, like, let's look for like JavaScript. I want just a JavaScript LSP. Dino, okay, well, maybe I'm not using a Dino project. Then we got ESLint LSP, ESLint D, which is a linter, okay. But ESLint LSP is an LSP, okay. And then we've got Firefox debug adapter, okay. That's, and then Glint, what's that? It's an LSP and a linter. That's interesting. I got to go look at this now to make sure it's not optimal. Google Java formatter, okay. That's nice. All right, Harper LS, that's for spelling stuff. You got to learn that the hard way. Has nothing to fuck to do with any of those languages. They just put it in all of them for some fucking reason. And yeah, it just goes on and on and on. LWC language server. Ah, okay, yeah. Sure. See, here's the problem. I went through that dance before. My issue with it is now I'm searching through 5 billion things to find the optimal language server, and then it's installed confusingly. So yeah, that's why I don't love that situation. And the whole LSP meta in general is a little annoying. They've basically fixed it now. All you have to do is have LSP config, which just gives you all the pre-configured defaults, and then you just call enable with this, and then you pass in the names of the servers. But here's another fucking thing that pisses me off is, sorry, I'm swearing a lot. I just get passionate about this stuff. But there was something that really fucked me up. So TSLS, right? TypeScript language server. You'd think that would be intuitive, but it's actually not at all, because down at the bottom here, what's it called? TypeScript language server. That's funny. It has a different name than they listed it as. So now it's yet another step to enable and properly configure this, you're having to look for what the executable name is of this, because that's how, like, they list it differently in NVim LSP config and the Mason package registry. So Mason is just ass in every way. And yeah, it's like they could maybe update this more often. And maybe if I checked my package updates, which I don't even know how to do with, is it vim.pack.update? Okay, it is. All right, let's see if Mason is up to date with new stuff. I mean, maybe they added new stuff. Maybe they deprecated a few more things. But if we look, TypeScript language server is still called that, so we're still getting that issue. And if we search for, I don't know, Lua, we're still getting codebook, ME Lua code format, ME Lua LS, Lua language server, Lua check, Lua formatter, Lualu LSP, which is a different thing. But it's like Selene. Okay, it's a linter. But it's just like there's so many things, I don't know what to fucking install because there's just so many of them now. And what's the fix to all of this? In my opinion, here's a project idea I have, and that's why I made this video, to kind of test this project idea. If you're still watching, thank you. I need your help to build this because I'm getting quite busy, but I can set this up or create an organization. Or maybe if you're super narcissistic and you want some plugin on your GitHub that you think will get you hired because of a bunch of stars, we could get that going for one lucky person, or I don't fucking know. I'd rather make it an org. But what I want to do, just for the broader community, is make some kind of tool that's basically like what Mason was trying to do, but not retarded. So instead of like having all this stuff installed by neovim, instead of making it like a GUI within neovim, I think it's better to follow the philosophy like you should just have one tool to do the thing and it should do it well. It should not be trying to do multiple things like Mason was trying to do. And no hate to the original creators of Mason, like great idea. We wouldn't be where we were right now if it wasn't for you. But the problem is it's hard to find the LSP you want and then get it installed and get it all working because there's so many like duplicate LSPs. Some of them are deprecated, some of them are bad. The install instructions are unclear. The best way I've found that like the pros do it, I got to get on this, is to look at, oh, this is not on my correct monitor. I have a couple like work tabs I got to close. Let's send this over there. Okay. The best way that pros do it is they go nvim lsp config, and you could just download this locally, and that's actually what I should have done. You can do like search help and then like nvim lsp or lsp config. I think this is the plugin. And then if we go up, we can see there's somewhere where this is gonna have like all of the different languages. Plugin, nvim, no, somewhere in this. And I'm just not sure where right now. There's like a list of all the different languages. Let's just look at the repo. Okay, LSP, is it in there? Yeah, it is. So if we go to LSP, oh, I opened the wrong thing. All right, let's just go in here. You guys know what I'm talking about. Only the hardcore fans are left at this point because this is confusing. So what the pros will do is search over all of this stuff and they'll be like, oh, okay, I want a Lua server, you know, and then they'll like go here and they'll just copy the name. And this is for the Crystal language, but you get what I'm saying. They just copy the name, they copy the config or whatever, and then they just like install it with their system package manager. So that's good, but the problem with that is you have to search through this, or you have to search through, you could do it locally because you have it cloned or whatever, it's in your config somewhere. The problem with that approach is that the names are not necessarily what the language server is, and you could grep around that and whatever, but you know what I mean? Like Alloy LS, like what language is that for? Okay, it's for the Alloy language, I could have guessed, but there are other stuff, other things like for some Neko, you know, or Bicep or Biome, like this is for JavaScript, I know, like I would have no way of knowing that if I didn't know, if I was a beginner. So what I would like is some kind of tool that is like a master list like this, that has basically all of the fucking, I said that for no reason, just to fill the void, but it's a tool that would have like a master list of all these LSP servers and like a little community note, like this is the good one, this is the one that isn't deprecated, this is the one you should use, and maybe we have 2 or 3 of those, and then it's like a search tool, you'd like fuzzy search through it, and I'm thinking the way we would do this just to make it friendlier, I don't know, is we could have, I think it would be kind of like a data repository where it would just be like a big storage of all of these things, and it would have fields. I don't know if this is a JSON or whatever, Tom, or it doesn't matter. Point is, it would have like the name, the languages it's used for, and then like a community note. And this would be just kept up to date by everyone. Like someone would maybe have to maintain, and we could take shifts maintaining this. Make it just like super up to date on the consensus for every language, what's the LSP. But not just that, not like here's the LSP, here's the name. It would also be how do you install this with like a bunch of different package managers? Like on all these systems, we'd check like, oh, is it in the AUR? Is it in the Nix Flakes? Is it in Homebrew? Is it in apt? Is it in whatever, Flatpaks, all that stuff. I don't know Linux package managers that well, but, and if it's not, like, here's how you can curl and make it and whatever. Or maybe we could like try to get the obscure ones into some of those package managers. It'd basically be like a big list. Here's all the package managers and how to install it, and here's its name, and here's what you put in your Vim config, and here's what you put in your Helix config, and your Emacs and your Cocoon and whatever to get this LSP server to work. And it would just say all that stuff. It would be all in like a big TOML sheet or a JSON sheet. And then what we could do is have a couple different front ends for that. We could maybe have an easy, nice looking like web one, maybe make it in something like Svelte so I won't like pull my eyes out because I'm so sick of React. Damn, that's some annoying dogma. This channel cannot devolve into that. Who cares? React works too. We just make a front end, and then, but on the other hand, it's good to be opinionated about it. So we'd have like a front end to the site, and that would have a fuzzy search over all this stuff. And then you could have beginners just pull up this site. It could be linked somewhere common, I don't know. And then we could just, someone could fuzzy search over it. Or alternatively, you could just download it as a command line thing, and we could have some pre-built scripts, you know. This is how you fuzzy find over all this stuff, and we could even make it into a Vim plugin if that's what people want. Like, here's how you pull all the stuff quickly into your configuration. Here's the install instructions. Here's all that stuff. Wait a minute. That's the worrying part of this. Like, this feels eerily similar to mason.nvim. Where do they source their stuff? That's what's worrying to me. And if we look, let's see, Lua tests, I bet somewhere in Lua, Mason core, Mason registry, all right? Sources, GitHub, file.lua. I don't see anything immediately, github.lua. So is there like, I'm not gonna read all this Lua right now. But yeah, that's kind of why I made this video. Like, is this a just really dumb idea? Has this totally already been done before with Mason? And am I just like reinventing the wheel but not understanding the problem at all? Like, why has this not been done before? But the thing is, like, I just see all this stuff, like new package, you know, help wanted, and deprecate, move, analyzer, LSP should be replaced. You see all these issues, and it's just like all for different things. 242 of those, it's a lot for someone to stay on top of. It would be a lot for anyone. And I don't want to like take work away from this project because it is good, but I think it needs to be redone, and I would rather see it not integrated into NVim first. I would rather see it as a data repository, and then other projects can pull from it, just as like a separation of concerns. I think that would be the smart way to do things, because that way like we could have multiple web UIs if fucking someone wants to rip someone else's project idea off. Or yeah, we could just have like telescope integration, like, or we could have, I don't know, something like that. And you could do stuff on top of that if you wanted maximum convenience. You know, you could write a telescope integration that shows, say you search for Python, and it shows all the Python language servers, but then it has like a rating next to it based on whatever the like community review of this, and it's like, okay, this is your guaranteed to work Python server. This is the more cutting edge Rust Python server, but you could use it if that's your thing. And yeah, it would just be like a much nicer way to install it. And then you could maybe like, that telescope picker would append a line to the end of your config that says like vim.lsp.configure, and then puts the name in there, and it runs the corresponding install instructions for your operating system. Like, I feel like it could be done better than it was done with Mason. And Mason has so many, it's just, it feels like a little sluggish and out of date. And I don't know who created mason.org. Okay, so it's got its own org. Yeah, this is the thing. Does it have Mason LSP config? Mason Registry. Ah, I see. So they do have their own thing. 3 hours ago, packages. So maybe this is pullable fromable. Maybe I'm just really dumb. And this is just like a project that's kind of useless because it's already done before. But add lazy git. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, just what's your opinion? I just made this video just to see if this is a viable project. Like, if it's not, I don't really care. I'm not all that invested, but I think it would be a good project for someone, and I'm happy to organize an organization. That was redundant, but I'm happy to put stuff together to make this happen. I think this would be a good thing to do, and even if this registry is a little redundant, like maybe we just contribute to this and like put a little more effort into it and then make another front end. And maybe this is already up to date as possible. I'm not really sure, but yeah, I don't know. That's a couple things I've seen. Yeah, let me know. I'll catch you next time.